Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to rewind the clock and we're going to go back to 2004, so grab your helmet and strap your boots, because we got some stuff to talk about today, in today's video. The United States Army thought it'd be a good idea to increase those recruiting numbers. And how do you do that? Simple. Video games. Full Spectrum Warrior is a tactical strategy game developed by Pandemic Studios and released in 2004. Originally designed as a military training tool, it was later adapted for commercial release on platforms like Xbox and PC. The game overall got good reviews, from IGN giving it an 8.8 out of 10 and GameStop giving it a 7.5 out of 10. Though the game did reasonably well commercially, it also did fail to hit its mark. But then again, this game did stand out from all the other military shooters in its generation. Now, let's talk about the setting and story. It's set in a fictional Middle Eastern country, where you lead your squad through the war-torn streets to eliminate insurgents and restore order. When it comes to the urban environments and the industrial style of this game, it does a very good job. The game revolves around urban combat with some industrial aspects. There's not a whole lot of room clearing, BD6, none of that stuff. And what I mean by BD6 is Battle Drill 6, enter and clear room. There's not really a whole lot of that at all. It's mostly street, alley fights and all that. It's a standard, typical RTS, but like every other RTS, you do come across like a small boss fight, such as a tank or a technical. It reminds me a lot of Black Hawk Down. The guys look like them. The guys, in a way, act like them, going up to the walls, the corners, running across the street. It feels a lot like it. This game was pretty much themed off of Black Hawk Down while America was at war. I mean, even the characters look like Rangers from the movie. Their gear, their guns, everything. They got the Alice setup and all of that. Even later on when you come across the Rangers, but they look like Delta operators. Keep in mind, this game is a military tool for training soldiers in real life. Just keep that in mind, so this game is going to be very interesting. Now, when you start off, it does kind of walk you through the parts. It holds your hand. You start off at mount training. Mount training is basically a training course that you do in the Army. It's about urban combat and whatnot. The main focus on this game as well is the fog of war. You don't know where your enemy is. They could be anywhere, so you have to make sure you have good sectors of fire. When it comes to the setting and the story, it's very straightforward. You are thrown into training to understand the entire concept of the game, how to play it, and then it throws you straight into combat. You take your team, you complete the missions. The missions are straightforward. This entire game's campaign is straightforward. It's get in there, kill the enemy, complete the objectives, go to the next objective, rinse and repeat. The gameplay behind this game is very straightforward. It's basically team bounding, which is a real-life tactic in the Army. Each team bounding through the streets and outflanking the enemy. Now, it's super easy to get behind the concept. It's not that hard. You just have one team engage the enemy and have another team flank them. It's super simple, but it can get chaotic though, because sometimes your flanking team will run into another insurgent and now you have to plan another route. Although that can be chaotic and fun, it becomes the same thing over and over in urban combat. To the point, every corner, every alleyway, every street, you're already expecting bad guys on the other end, waiting for you. There are only 3 major mechanics in this game. There are 4, but I don't really count the 4th one. Starting off at number 1, you can always call in a recon helicopter that will survey the area and highlight the enemy locations on your PDA. The other one is reviving a downed teammate. When your teammates get down, they're not technically dead, they're just incapacitated, and they need to be carried back to the medical station. So if you pick them up and take them back, your team will be a lot slower and less capable of fighting the enemy because they're carrying their downed teammate. The other one is mostly scripted, and it's the airstrike. You call in the airstrike only in scripted events. You can't just randomly call it in whenever you want, which I think is kind of stupid, because sometimes you find an enemy just dug in one spot, and an airstrike would be perfect to knock them out. Now, talking about these mechanics, they're pretty much usable with every mission. Sometimes you can't call an airstrike, sometimes you can. Sometimes you can utilize Charlie Team, which is another element added to your squad. But the Charlie element is usually a specialized soldier who is capable of doing one thing and one thing only, such as EOD or the Rangers, who happen to look like Delta operators, could be snipers that could shoot through cover and whatnot. I've only encountered a few of them. There's nothing super spectacular about it. They were just mainly a mission requirement to complete the objective, so you had to have them, you had to use them. Most of the time I secured the area and just had him, the Charlie element, go up there and do his job and complete the mission. Super easy. When it comes to the recon helicopter, you can call them in periodically during the missions. There is a small cooldown time, but I was too busy focused on survival to really notice a cooldown. It does a good job sticking around for just a little bit to highlight enemies, and you can use your PDA to outflank them by checking out your map.
Point fire now. Yes, sir. Listen up, Alpha. Charlie 32, Charlie 90, TL reporting in.
When it comes to the down teammate, you can always have one teammate down and still carry on the mission and continue the fight. Though your team with the downed soldier won't be as effective, you can still use them. Picking up your downed teammate will take you time though, because it takes a little bit of time, to throw a man with all that gear on your back, and then now you have to carry him wherever you go, which will slow down your team. The game does also feature a checkpoint system that you can use, but you don't have to use it just for the extra challenge. Hell, half the time I felt like I was running through the streets of Mogadishu half the time in this game, but it was still fun. The combat alone is fun, it does keep you thinking, but grenades are usually the best option when it comes to killing the enemy. Yeah, you can outflank them, but sometimes a grenade is so much better. Don't be surprised if your man gets hit and your team doesn't know what to do when they're outflanked. They just kind of stand there and just scream they're getting shot at. And sometimes I had to be right up on the enemy to actually kill him, because everything I used didn't work. And it's pretty surprising that these guys are soldiers and yet they have to be right up on them to actually shoot the enemy, to kill the enemy, because my god, do these guys suck at shooting. With that being said, sometimes your team actually would kick some ass, but it was few and far in between. The only time that I actually felt really good with the team is when I had the Charlie element, especially that being the Rangers with their sniper rifles. Those guys literally picked off the enemy non-stop, no matter what.
Understood. Yeah, you see that? That didn't take long.
Now, when it comes to maneuvering in a combat situation, it's really clunky and weird. I didn't really like it, though it is super easy to just, you know, move the joystick, use those yellow dots and line them up against a wall, but sometimes it just didn't work. Sometimes it would just stop and it couldn't go around a corner. It's like it wanted me to clear that corner before I could proceed around that corner, even though I know the corner is already clear. I wish that they had a one whole unit button. You just push the button and your entire squad would move as one to the location that you select.
Fireteam Bravo, listen up. Point fire now. Gotcha.
When it comes to the enemy AI and performance, everything runs smoothly, but the combat doesn't. It does run smoothly, but it doesn't, if that makes any sense. It's like the enemy holds their position as soon as the engagement starts, and they wait for you to outflank them so you can kill them. They wait for you to make the move to kill them. That's basically it.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
The cover system is really weird. Sometimes it works, but normally when you're behind cover and you got the shield above your team, you're pretty much invincible. But you're also being pinned down by enemy fire. But the good thing is, they can't kill you. But there are times though where you come across situations just like this, and you need to literally hold their hand and walk them through it. It's like the game trying to be more action-packed in its dull moments. My final thoughts on this game though, I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked it. It touched a special spot in my heart after serving 5 years in the US Army as a 11 Bravo infantryman. This game does hold a special spot in my heart. Now, it's no Call of Duty, it's no Battlefield, it's no anything like that. This game, back in the day of 2004 and whatnot, it stuck out and was its own game. It utilizes team bounding and using your team compared to Brothers in Arms, where you're doing that, but you are also running around on the battlefield. This is more of a squad leader's point of view, in a way. You got your Alpha and Bravo team, and you are the squad leader, ordering them where to go, where to move, what to do. This game does a really good job hitting that aspect straight on the head. Or I should really say just shooting it in the face. This game does a good job, I ain't gonna lie. As an infantryman and understanding what it's like to be in combat and actually applying this to a game, I can see where it's trying to train people. I can see where it's trying to help you understand what a actual fire team is and an actual squad and the purpose behind flanking and maneuvering and outflanking the enemy. The game does a good job, but I will say it did not age well. It has its issues. It's not a great game to today's standard by any means. It is not. But again, it's still a classic game from just when the PlayStation 2 and Xbox were just a big thing at the time. These games were just pumped out and just to test the waters on what they could use for the future to come in the gaming industry, from FPSs to strategy to RTSs and to time-based turn games and stuff like that. I can see where they were trying to go with this. And I can also see where they were trying to go with this when it came to Army recruiting and Army training. I can see where they were trying to go with it. But I will say this game has not aged well in any way, shape, or form. Another cool thing I will say about this game though is the fact that it has the US Army version. That version is actually very unique, but in a bad way. The fact that they actually put that in the game is super unique, that it is more for the actual military for training its soldiers on what is team bounding, what is sectors of fire. Basically the 101s to controlling a entire squad. It was super corny, the acting was ferocious, it was cheesy as hell when it came to the acting and stuff, but the same rules apply. It's all about team building, working as a squad, shoot, move, and communicate is the basic fundamentals of this entire game. All in all, this game was just a unique game that just stuck out from the rest of the games back in its day. Has it aged well? No. Is it still fun? Yeah, it's still fun. I actually enjoyed it. Am I going to go back to it to replay my favorite mission? No, I'm not going to, because to be honest with you, I didn't really have a favorite mission. They were all kind of the same. The graphics though, I'm not going to lie, they have not aged well. Do they look okay? Yeah, they look okay if you don't mind the graphics, but I will say this though, every mission has a piss yellow filter over it and it's kind of annoying. But that's also like every other game that takes place in the Middle East. But in the end, my overall review, I'm going to give this game a 3 out of 5. It's just a classic game that just stuck out a little bit by itself, and also the fact that it was attached to the US Army makes it a little different as well. But hey, if you stuck around this long, you are now my best friend. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.